episode of the Comedians of Entre. What's going on? You guys know me. I'm your host, Erik Rivera. We've got a very exciting show for you guys. I'm very excited. Today, we're going to be talking about the HBO's Latino comedy competition, which is part of the Entre brand, which is part of the HBO half hours. So get excited. I don't know if you guys have seen the information out there. A trailer did drop today, just giving the info. So if you're a Latinx comic out there that, wants to get seen and wants to be part of it all, here you go. We'll give you that little trailer right there. So you saw it there, November 13th. Submissions are due by November 13th. So if you are thinking of entering, please go do so. You need a set, 3 to 5 minutes. Just go submit, and they're going to sort through all those sets and pick, I don't know how many finalists, but you know what? Stick around because we're going to have a bunch of guests coming in. We've got people from HBO, people from the New York Latino Film Festival coming on, and the producer. So no se escucha el trailer. Yeah, we can't play the audio because we'll get kicked off of YouTube. Pero if you're watching and if you're a comedian, please go check out the website, New York Latino Film Festival. Actually, you know what? We have the producer of the Entre series, and he's one of the people behind the comedy competition. Let's get him in here. Give it up for Edwin Lincona.
What's going on? What's going on, guys?
Or as Orlando likes to call you, a grown man on
TikTok. A grown man on TikTok. By the way, I think I'm gonna hit 20K by the end of this week. That's what I don't know. More days.
Now, do you brag about this with your friends, or just?
Of course not. I only brag about it here.
Okay, all right. So we just showed the trailer for the Entre Nos comedy competition, the Latino comedian comedy competition. I don't know what the exact what's the exact title for this thing.
Latino stand-up competition.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. But we'll find out because we're going to bring in our friends from HBO and Nightlife.
Yes. So submissions, because I'm on their website right now. That's the New York Latino Film Festival. So go check that out. Submissions are due by November 13th.
Yep.
And they got to submit a 3 to 5 minute set.
Yes. This is our second annual. The first time we had a great response. And then we ended up doing a cool live comedy competition in New York during the New York Latino Film Festival. But for obvious reasons, this year is going to be virtual. We got an amazing, cool little virtual partner studio. So it's going to be a good experience, which, Jessica and Calixa will talk about a little bit later on.
Well, before we get into all that, so you've been producing the Entre series for how many years now? 3 years?
I want to say 4 now.
4 years. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm a new comic. I'm excited to enter this competition. What should I be bringing to the table to catch your attention? Because that's a question I'll always get asked. People will ask me, hey, I want to submit a tape. Will you take a look at the tape? What kind of material should I submit? So what should they be thinking about when they're picking their material? What's going on, Will?
All right. I'm going to talk about it from the submission standpoint.
Go ahead.
All right. make sure that we can see you.
Right.
Video. Make sure that whomever is recording that video for you, if you don't have it on a tripod, is not talking to somebody next to, because
so you're talking about right now just you're not talking about the okay. And
when they submit their 5-minute video, and I was able to see submissions with people talking. The guy, like the person that was holding the video, the camera was talking, and so therefore I wasn't able to hear the comedian. A couple of things like that I just want to make sure that they give their 3 to 5 minutes the best opportunity possible for us to hear them, see them, enjoy those punchlines, and make sure that we can hear everything. Right. You know, and I think again that's strictly from the submission standpoint, because.
And I appreciate you saying this, because so before the pandemic, I was running a show at the Laugh Factory and helping book. And it was exactly that. Like, there's people I wanted to get on the show and be like, hey, just send me a submission so they can take a look. And it's exactly that. They get mad. It's nothing to do with the funny. It's just the presentation is off. Yeah. Like I told this one dude, and the analogy always stuck with me. You wouldn't send your resume into a job you want on loose leaf paper. 100%. So exactly what you're saying. Like I saw tapes where people will hold it. This dude recorded laughing. He crazy. And I'm like, I can't, what? I missed what you were saying next, because this dude was talking.
I just want to make sure that everybody gives themselves the opportunity for all the judges to be able to hear them, see them, and understand every word they're saying. Because you would be surprised the submissions that we receive. And as much as energetic, and we see that energy on stage, if we can't hear what you're saying,
right,
like 9 out of 10 times, we're probably going to skip over it because we need to hear what it is that, because at the end of the day, the winner gets to be on the show.
Right.
So we have to make sure that it's that the material is up to the standards, and then that we're going to make sure that it's broadcast quality. So
right. And here's something too that most people may not realize, because they, I know, because I've gotten it too. I'm sure there's a lot of hate, like, oh, Edwin just don't pick me. And what they don't realize is you'll be a fan of somebody.
Yeah.
Right. Same with me. Like there's people I'm fans of, and I'd be like, hey, send me something, and they'd send me exactly that shaky footage. It's off to the side, like you can't really hear them, you can't see them, and they don't realize that you have to pass that along to a corporation. You're passing that along to HBO execs who don't care about, like, hey, what'd he say? Oh, this dude's funny. But they look at it right away, and right away have written you off because it's shaky. I can't hear it. I'm not going to try to strain to hear what this person is saying. Material. Right.
The second thing I would like to mention is, because now we're living in a digital streaming world, and we're getting accustomed to getting the hits right away, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would suggest that your opener, whether it's that minute, first 2 minutes, whatever it is as strong as possible to capture all of our tensions for us to keep going that minute 3, 4, and 5.
Right.
Don't wait to give us your best material till the end, because you don't know, these executives are probably looking at the submissions on their own time from a long 12-hour workday. And if you don't get them, you don't grab their attention right away, we might not have that opportunity to get into minute 3 or 4 where,
you're warmed up and you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a quick question. Does it have to be in English, or can video be in Spanish? Are you guys taking Spanish submissions too?
Yeah, we've taken Spanish submissions.
All right. Look at that, Gian. So you better send in your tape.
Yeah. That's a great question, by the way. We did our pilot episode was all in Spanish, and I still believe in that. It's a growing market, so yes, submit it, 100%. Yeah.
Hi, Claudia. How's it going? She's traveling. Safe travels. We got Joe. Stay ready. Don't have to get ready. I love it. I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said, because I've seen that too, where, like, if you got a joke you love, there's nothing wrong. I don't know why sometimes comedians feel like they have to show you me walking on stage, shaking the host's hand. You can cut that all out. Just get right into the bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes comics will send in a submission tape and the first minute is just, hey, what's up? Oh, look at this guy right here in the front. How you guys feeling? Cut that all out. Boom. Get right into the hits.
Yeah.
Like you don't go to a dunk contest to watch a dude warming up and doing the layup. You want to see the dunk right away.
And I think you and I, based on what you were just saying right now, you and I have had offline conversations about comedy specials right now. Like if there is no intro, the majority of them just get us into the first joke right away.
Right into it.
As soon as we hit play, within seconds, we're in the set. Like we're into the whole routine already. We're watching everything. So,
right.
Yeah, you know, it's probably the best thing. And again, I don't say it. The best way I can tell people is like we're just living in a digital world now and streaming, and we're able to like fast forward to the things that we don't like, and as opposed to the old days where you know you popped in a DVD and you just kind of weigh it all out.
Right.
Now it's like you have options now, so just make sure that you give us the hits right away.
Okay, so aesthetically, we've established you want to be able to see it, you want to be able to hear it, get right into the material. So now the big question is the material. What is it you're looking for, or what is it that would help people stand out from the rest of the pack?
Obviously originality, right?
Right.
You know, I think that's first and foremost. Be original and give us a perspective that we haven't seen or heard before. Second, I would say be confident. As much as it has not probably the confidence thing has nothing to do with the material itself, but it does have to do with the presentation and how you're delivering those jokes. If I feel like you know you're confident and you know your material is working, 9 out of 10 times it's gonna, even if the jokes are not hitting as much as you think they should be, 9 out of 10 times I'm just gonna say you're in the wrong place, the wrong crowd, and your material is still great, and I'm gonna end up working with you anyways. And just be broad. I know this is a Latino stand-up competition. I just want to make sure that we represent ourselves in a broad spectrum, because I feel like anybody can relate to us. Story-wise, family-wise, everything. People can relate to us. So it doesn't have to strictly just be 100% Latino jokes or Latino content. Tell us your American Latino experience. That's what I want to hear.
Right. So Jackie Nova says she's super ready and excited. It sounds like she might be entering the contest. Well, let's shift gears here a little bit, because we're gonna bring somebody in right now. They are one of the winners of last year's competition, and like you said, they get the opportunity to be on the show, and he's a dude that I know from back in my days in New York. He's just a straight killer. Give it up for Mark Vieira.
What's up?
He's Thanos, man. I think I told him that too. I was like, dude, you're Thanos out there. In that comedy space, man.
Yeah, well, you know, because I tell people I tell especially the comedians and the bookers, I always have the worst of intentions when it comes to the stage and the audience. I want to bring the absolute best. I want to cause the most damage. And I don't know if every comic goes out there with that kind of chip on their shoulder, but coming from the hard knock streets of, comedy scene of New York, you know that the audience is asking for the biggest parts of you. You know what I mean? New York City especially, they want the biggest laughs and they want them now. So it's you know what I mean? So that's the kind of comedy that I feel like that's the brand of comedy that I bring. I can go straight, but I rather.
And it comes across like it comes across. I think, and I was having this conversation with an executive offline about one of your shows, and I was like, look, if we were reading this transcript, we would still see where the funny is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we get to see that extra layer when you're on stage. You're delivering it, and you see all that energy, then just amplifies everything. So I was like, don't just get stuck on reading that transcript. Wait till you see it live, you know?
Yeah. The energy is a part of the show. You know, I feel like the performer comes out the second I hit the stage. I'm trying to think in the funniest way possible, but for some reason, the second I get on stage, my body helps to tell the story. My face helps to tell the story. My voice inflections help to tell the story. So a lot of people after my show, they go, man, you had me mesmerized like a preacher. And I guess that's because I've learned to take my voice high when I need it, low when I need it. But that just comes from the audience. Like the audience teaches you that lesson, because I know I didn't take any classes for that.
So you're basically using so based on what you just said right now, you're basically using your voice as another instrument that's with you out there. Like, you know, you're playing with it, you're adjusting it that help you hit those notes.
Yeah. And again, honestly, it's probably from watching a ton of Robin Williams and a ton of George Carlin and George Lopez and you know, for me, the original Richard Pryor, who did the same thing with his voice. You know, he always did a high voice. What the hell? And then, you know, and then he would just do this, and it was normal. And then he would deep. I don't know. I guess from watching some of the greats, I guess that rubbed off on me. You know, the physical was definitely a Robin Williams and then a Bernie Mac. I love the way Bernie Mac, even though he was an older gentleman in a suit, he always used his body as a tool up there as well. So
dude,
lessons to be learned, you know.
When I started stand-up, dude, I remember I used to watch you, man, and you like, you know how to tell a story, and like exactly what you're saying. You use your voice, you use your body, dude. There's a story you used to tell that I used to love, but then I would hate because they'd be like, "Ah, you're going up after Mark," and that your grandmother at the window, when you would lean on the stool, exactly what you're saying. You mira, you cannot park over, and like you became this woman, and I would watch this audience just like falling over. I'm like, this mother, damn it!
Why'd you have to go all the way in on that? You know. But it's honestly it's a testament to, I think, the true storyteller of comedians. You know, Eric, you do the same thing. Your voice, I listen to you, and your voice goes up and down as it needs to. And I think it almost happens as a knee-jerk reaction to get the reaction, right? Like you already know the story, you already know the joke, but there's a way to bring the audience in. And I don't know. I think just like Ed said, you know, I try to use it as another weapon. We don't have many weapons on stage, right? It's the plot, it's the jokes, it's the premise, and then it's whatever other variables that you can use, like I said, to make the show go from funny to hysterical, from hysterical to, you know, to ridiculous, and so on and so forth. So I just try to use all the tools in the bag. I try never to leave any of them in the bag.
And let me tell you why I call it a tool, because I compare, when I see you guys on stage sometimes, I compare it to a song. There's song structures, the bridge and all of that stuff, right? The chorus, the first for second verse, and all of that is designed to keep you entertained, like, or at least the ear entertained. The changes in a song is so you don't get bored of that same rhythm going in and out.
Right.
When I see comedians like you, like Eric, like that use that voice as a tool, like I compare it to, like, holy shit, that's a song. Like, it's a whole structure, you know. So I do call it a tool, and I think there's a lot of comparisons between comedy and music in general, anyways.
Yeah. Generally, yeah. I compare comedy to boxing because it is that isolated. You know what I mean? I compare it to the fighter that trains, can train with other people, but the day of the fight, it's just him versus himself. The other guy is there, but he has to bring the best. It's funny how I connect it, but I know that the moment before I go on stage, there's like a million things going on in my head. And again, I'm making sure I have all my tools when I go up on stage. And then, you know, the use of all the tools, honestly, is because it's a story. You know what I mean? I don't go up there and do these, you know, kind of set up and punches, set up and punch, set up and punch. And so to keep the story vibrant, to keep the colors as I want them to be or as blue as I want them to be, I have to inject more. I have to be more engaging with the audience. And I feel like even a simple facial expression of amazement or wow or ugh. You know, people really respond to that because it's a part of the story. So it's I don't know, it just become a valuable tool. I don't want to say that I don't write funny, but I feel like sometimes I write a bunch of ideas and I go on stage and it's just ideas of stories or something that happened, but it's really how I fill in the lines with all that stuff that really make the story. It's like you said, I've written for Comedy Central and I send it in and they're like, it's not funny. And I, you know, how is this funny? And I go, I'm going to tape it for you tomorrow and send it to you. You're going to see, and we're going to catch some of the audience and you'll see, right? Comedy has to come alive with the performer, you know? So,
right.
And that's the combo that I think I was having offline with somebody. It's like, it may read to you just like, you know, like, but I think those are like your premises or ideas or anything. And inside your head, as soon as you see those key points, you know how you're gonna hit or what you need to do, right? So that was my whole combo with it. It was like, don't look at this. Like, just wait till the performance comes out, and that's a different story.
Exactly. Exactly. And it all, you know, it all happens once the magic happens when we're on stage. It doesn't really happen off the paper unless you're writing for something, right? Unless you're going to punch up a script for a sitcom or even punch up jokes for another comedian. It is really the devil is in the details once you get on stage. And look, even the moment I get on stage, I might see something funny coming that I didn't write. And then I just perform it, you know? And it really hits. And that's why, honestly, nowadays I try to record all my sets because I'm very improv and in the moment. I'm like, I got to see what happened. I got to see what the hell happened that made that people laugh because I know I said something, but I don't remember what it was, you know, or I did something. So now I got a habit of just recording my sets.
Yeah.
Right.
So we played your trailer. Go ahead.
Well, let me ask you, Mark, because you know we're doing the competition again. Submissions are due by November 13th. Right. What advice would you throw out there for comedians who are thinking about doing it? And the reason I like that you're on and we're asking you, when I heard your name as a finalist, I did a double take because you're definitely a vet. You're somebody I'm like, how do they not know who he is? So someone at your level could easily look at this and go, I'm not going to waste my time with that. But as we can see, you won. You're on HBO. You're on HBO Max now, which is amazing. So, like, what advice would you give the comics who are thinking about it or have already dismissed it?
I'm gonna give the advice that I got. So, just like you said, and I think Eric, you and I talked about it when we were taping last year for both events, right? I think we had an opportunity to talk about it. I really wasn't going to submit. I thought about it and I put it sort of on the side as a maybe. And then I got a call from Angelo Lozada and he said, "Did you submit yet?" And I said, "Man, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm not sure." And he said, "You're going to submit today and then you're going to call me back when you submit." And I'm not taking no for an answer. He said, "Do this for you, but also do it for me. I know what you're capable of, and this is perfect for you. Please submit today." And I went through my archives. I actually changed my submission to another one that I taped when I was performing with Fluffy. And I changed it to that for the submission. And you know what? I said, I know this is going to get me in because it was some really good stuff, you know, and I believed in it. That's why I sent it in. And I give that same advice to the comedians that think that maybe they have too much tenure or maybe have worked a little bit too hard and feel like this may be a step back, is that sometimes you do have to humble yourself and take a step back to take a leap forward. And so my best advice is to definitely submit, because the worst that could happen is that, you know, maybe your set that you send in isn't the greatest or the hottest, but at least the Eds of Entre and the Jessicas of HBO Latino, they know who you are. You know, they've seen your stuff, and maybe it doesn't make cut. Maybe somebody sends in a better tape, but the point is to be in the running. The point is for people to remember you by saying, "Wow, that was really funny," and maybe it's a top 5, and maybe you were the 6th, you know, or whatever the case may be. But you have to send it in to at least have that opportunity to be seen. So it's not so much to win, but it's definitely to be seen, because I know Ed has seen tapes and has maybe not voted for that person, but that person has stood out. You know what I mean? And so I look to comedy for that, to stand out. It's like when we go in for an audition for like a movie, Eric, or a TV show, and you know that you're not going to get, look, I've been to auditions where they tell me, this role is really for someone else, but we want to see what you could do with it, Mark, right? And so
Right.
I've prepared. They tell me this when I've already prepared for the audition. I walk in and I leave the place in stitches, and I go, it doesn't matter that I got it or not, because this role was for Luis Guzman or John Leguizamo, right? But I booked the room. I showed them who I was, and I left everything there in that audition. I didn't leave it in the subway, or I did whatever. I made sure that I booked that room, that I made sure that those people were like, that Mark Vieira is hilarious. And when we have another role, let's definitely call him back. And I definitely have gotten those callbacks. So I think the important thing is to send a clip. But my best advice, in addition, is to send a really good clip. A lot of comics fail to have a good clip, meaning that we can see you. It's not on your Apple, your iPhone 4 with the camera that, or someone's holding it and, you're doing this the whole time. When you look like you have Parkinson's or no teeth, or the audio is bad and all you can hear is the people talking at the table. These are important little doodads that I would explain to the people, the comics that are submitting, is take this seriously. Send in a really good quality video, and on top of that, let it be funny. Let it be a representation of your funny, and that's it. And then gamble. Throw the dice on the table, dude, and walk away.
Yeah.
It's so funny you say that, because we know a lot of comics are like, I'm not gonna waste my time on that. I'm not gonna spend money on that. And I follow Kevin Hart on Instagram, and like I always like hearing him talk about the business, because I feel like he always drops gems, and if you're not really paying attention, you miss it. But like him talking about just investing in yourself, like at the end of the day, you're the product. Like I see you work out. Why? Because you're the product. You want to get into those rooms. You don't want to leave that room and they go, man, that Mark, man, he's sloppy. He didn't even take care of himself. Like even the things with the doodads, like I've got a ring light, I bought a camera, and those little investments. You're the business. You want to come out looking as professional as you can. I think some comics look down on it like, oh, he's just all smoke and mirrors. I'm gonna let the material speak for itself. I'm like, no, you kind of have to make those investments too to give yourself the best shot at it.
Yeah. We talked about it earlier at the top of the show, how we got several hundreds of submissions, and some of them we just couldn't see. We couldn't see the person. We couldn't hear the person, or the person holding the phone was actually probably talking to another table, and I can hear the conversation going. Wow. And I was like, oh my God, this is what people are submitting? Confident enough to submit this? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, before we go on, we do have another guest coming in, and I'm excited to bring her in. She is the director of HBO's multicultural marketing. Give it up for Jessica Vargas.
I'm on mute. Hi, how are you?
What's up, Jessica? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
And hold up, we have another person coming in. He's actually usually my co-host, but I took this show serious because I was excited by it, and he just decides he's gonna just dilly-dally in at whatever time he wants and be late. Hashtag the disrespect. Give it up for Orlando Leyba. Woo!
Hi, Orlando.
How's everybody doing?
You're out there running?
Yeah, I'm over here changing my life. I'm over here. Listen, if you drop the ball, you got to pick it back up, And that's all I got to say. Hold on with this traffic out here in these streets. But you know what I'm saying?
Orlando, you sure you're not house hunting?
Who's that? That's Jessica. Oh, how are you, Jessica? I couldn't see you. Oh, mira, ese es Mark Vieira. Mira, sin bata. Qué bendito, nene. Oye.
Don't make me go get my bata. Please don't make me go get the bata, please.
Hey, I've noticed that every time I hear a Puerto Rican talk now, I just hear reggaeton in the background. I don't know when that started happening. But any of them, it could be like, hey, estamos aquí, usted bendito, estamos aquí para hablarle del Señor, nuestro Señor. Señor Jesucristo. Ta-da, 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 ta-da. Okay, that was a delay. All right, guys.
Is this Orlando's
I
submission
love
tape?
each
What's
and every one
happening?
of you. I'm sorry I can't be on this call, and I'm out. I'm out because I refuse to deal with bad
Listen,
technology.
it looks
All right?
like
I don't have
it looks
Ethernet
like
today.
this is a news group, and Orlando is on location at the
Yeah.
storm, right?
Yeah.
Orlando, tell us
It's
how it's
just
going over
spinning.
there at the storm front.
I tell you, it's just spinning. It's just spinning and spinning. I don't know how these people just keep on. They tell me that they're gonna rebuild, but why?
Orlando's just out there very passionately making sure people are voting. That's why he's out there in the streets. Right, Orlando?
Yeah. He's
No,
leading
no.
the Latin militia. That's what he's doing.
Oh no! Oh no! Don't no 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 no. It's a very bad word around here right now. All right? Guys, I love each and every one of you guys. If I can, I'll try to hop on a little bit later when I make it home. But peace, love, and Afro Latino next.
All right, man. Be safe out there.
Like
All right.
it, I like it.
Oh my God. So Jessica, we're so excited to have you on. You and Edwin are the people responsible for this whole thing happening.
I think she's the.
100%.
I'm gonna say I'm the guy on this side making it happen, but she's making it happen from the East Coast, calling those shots.
I'm trying.
Yeah, you are. You are.
Trying, you're doing it. This is what we just said before. What is it, 4th year of Entre, the half hours, and now there's the 2nd year of the competition. That's all amazing stuff. You don't say it enough, but I'll say it for you. While other platforms aren't doing it, you're giving Latin comedians a voice.
100%.
Well, that's the goal, and that's why we started this whole thing, right? So, we started it. We knew there were like enough Latino comedians that you can hold in your hand that had like their own show and todo eso. So, we, and Viva has been great partners. So Edwin and Victor have been amazing partners, and we really. And that's why we're sticklers to this whole, you have to be part of Internos before you get your own 30, because there is, a baton to be passed, right? So even though I knew of Mark and he was absolutely seasoned, he had to go through that before now we can, leverage him and his funnies and his followers. And he knows I'm his super fan. But we have to almost follow that in order to be able to almost establish a process, and for it to be, you are excited to come in and show what you can do in 8 minutes, which is probably harder than in 30 because you got to cut it short, sweet, and do your thing. And that way, Edwin and Victor can know if you can pull the 30 minutes, it might seem super easy. And I'm not a comedian, but it must be hard. I remember the first 30-minute special we did with Orlando Leyba, and he worked his ass on that material. And Orlando, jokey, todo eso, he prepared. So I remember I was on the day of taping, he was like mental, like,
Yeah.
And una preparación that it wasn't like, oh, I got this. They picked me, I got this. It was legit a lot of work. So we have to make sure that they are ready to take that leap. So they go from the multi-comedians to having their own show. And the next steps is having something on an HBO Max, having a series. And so as Mark mentioned before, that's what I'm hoping, that I can continue to pull these guys so that we don't have, 1 or 2 super Latino comedians that sit up there like the George Lopez's. Like we need more and more. So I want to build them so that they can continue, and we can have more than a handful of them. So hopefully I'm trying to do that, pero ya veremos.
But I think to add to what she just said, I think it's an old school process as well. That when I was younger and I was watching comedians grow up, HBO had, I think it was New Faces of the New Faces of Comedians, or I forgot the more compact show where the multi comedians on one half hour or whatever. And then from there, like I started seeing the half hour specials, just like strictly half hours. and then obviously it evolved to the hours, right? So I think it's an old school, way of growing or going through the ranks, instead of just like, all right, here's your first hour.
Right.
There it is,
Well, we also want to set you up for success, right? So listen, as much as, I want to be an EVP now. I might not be ready for that role. It comes with a lot of responsibilities. So guess what? Maybe I'll just take the next step and I grow. And by the time you get here, ya tú te sabes hacer everything that you can and you're really prepared. I don't want to set you up for failure. I don't want to set you up on a stage when we've paid and the lighting, the stage, the audience is there and you're not ready and you free. Like, I don't want to set you up for failure. So there has to be a process, right? And I'm not saying that this process needs to take 10 years, like de aquí 3-4 years later, aquí. No. We need to speed it up because we've been on this, esperando too long. But you have to set them up for success. So I can, and definitely with the help of Edwin, we sit back and I tell Edwin, you think he's ready for 30? Let's put him on this list. And we talk it through. Because just how Edwin has to make sure that they can perform on that stage for 30, I have to make sure that marketing-wise, because I am marketing, I can market them. That they have a proper social media. That they know how to go to a press outlet and have a conversation. Which is, again, why, for you, for example, Eric, you went from being in the multi, and you got real quick, you were asked to do your own 30. You were ready, right? So I'm looking at marketing. Edwin is making sure that they can actually do a full set of 30, but there's a bunch of things that go, it's not just as easy as give me a 30 and we're good. It just doesn't work that way.
Now, what obstacles do you face when you don't get somebody who's just, marketable, ready like me and Mark? Because, like, look at us. Be honest. Just, come on. It's ridiculous. Look at that right there. There is no bad side. Look at that.
That's the name of my special. My 30 minutes is gonna be called "Que Chulo." Look. This is the only photo you're gonna need. Look.
Mark, you gotta do this over the shoulder. Just
over the shoulder.
Yeah, look.
That's the key art right there.
But in all honesty, like what advice? Because I know some comics hate dealing with their social, but like, what are some of the things you look for in the social media aspect of it that would help you or to help even any network when it comes to marketing?
Yeah, so I think I'm looking for a social media that is not, and I've seen this literally, like, I'm gonna be here at 8:30 tonight, support me, and it's just flyers and flyers and flyers, like. Boo, I get you. First of all, you should geo-target because I can't get to that Texas place or that place, right? So that's besides the point. You should know at least that. But it's content. You are, at the end of the day, your comedy is content. You're a content creator. So yes, don't give away your shows or your material, but how do you creatively give a hint of who you are, Eric, on a stage, who you are, Mark, on a stage that makes audiences engage. And then I hate to be like, how many followers do they have? But followers count. And more than followers, engagement counts. Because if you tell me you have 1 million followers and you get 5 clicks on your videos, you have 0 engagement, right? So engagement is even more important than followers. But you are content creators at the end of the day. And so your social should reflect your personality, who you are. I'm a little old school. A mí me gusta la cosa no tan sucia, no, like rated. Like, let's keep it, you can say certain words, but like, let's keep it also a little bit not rated R on that end. But yo soy old school vieja, and that's just my mentality.
No, I think to add to what she just said, like I've had conversations with comedians where I need to tell them, like, hey, you need to clean up or you need to prepare your social media, because if we're going to put your name on this list, they're going to start looking at you.
Right.
And if you're not as active or all you do is post flyers, I hate to say it, sometimes there's some prejudgment there, like, oh, this guy's not about his business. And we might even ignore how funny he is. He could be the funniest person, and we just don't get to see that because there was some already social media prejudgment made. You know, I hate saying that, but sometimes that does happen. But I love when they prove me wrong on that. You know, and then I'm like, okay, well, he's just not active on social media. That doesn't mean nothing. You know.
Right,
So then
right.
we have that discussion because we've had it, Jessica. And I was like, he's just not a social media guy. But look his material. Here's his material. Yes, he doesn't post it. I don't know why he doesn't post his material, but I'm fighting for him to be on the show more, you know, more than him more than the comedian fighting or promoting themselves because they are the talent and they are the product. So it is important.
Listen, before we continue this conversation, we have the founder of New York Latino Film Festival. He's a partner in this competition. Let's bring him in right now. Calixto Chinchilla.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Hi.
Hi. Hey, Jessica.
I love your background.
Thank you. Love you back. Hey, Mark. Hey.
What's up, Calixto? How you been, man?
What's up, family?
In a while. I mean, I see you, but I don't see you. You know what I mean?
You know, but you're acting brand new because you won last year. Now you don't know anybody because he's a winner now. So
because I got a new 30-minute special called El Chulo. Look. That's a novela. I'm gonna write it up. Don't worry, Jessica.
No. I'm seeing how you roll now. I'm seeing you.
We actually have a comment about the engagement. Somebody wanted to know, but nowadays people even have fake engagement. Are you guys using social media to judge any part of this contest or none of the content? Or like how much is social media? Because I don't want people to get discouraged. Like, oh, if it's about social media, I'm not even gonna
No, it's not.
Talent.
It's not solely social media, and so there's a humans behind all this, right? So we are not putting some formula into something and like based on the engagement rate, that's who we're going to talk to. There's humans, there's Latinos for Latinos, and there's humans behind it. So again, it starts with Edwin kind of be like, hey, this is who I'm thinking. I even say, hey, I saw this really, really funny guy, but I throw it to you because you're the expert. So I could find him funny, but you're going to be like, no, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. Or let me research him. But it's a whole package, right? It's a whole package of what have you done, right? Like, baby steps. What are your accolades? Like, I've been on this, I've been on that. What are your accolades? What's your social and your presence, right? But also, do I like you? You're not funny to me. I was gonna be a problem.
Look at did he go get
Mark
it?
left.
Or what?
Mark
He
left.
left.
So,
left the building.
So let's talk about the New York Latino Film Festival. How did this relationship come about with HBO's Latino comedy competition, New York Latino Film Festival, which seems like a perfect marriage? But how did you guys finally come together and go, let's do this?
We've been fortunate over the years to kind of emerge from just being a festival and into this platform that not only identifies content creators, but develops audiences and filmmakers and actors. So it's been able to fortunately be on just a 1-week event into a kind of like a year-round organization that kind of identifies and puts creators to work. And so when this idea kind of came along, again, it was like there wasn't Latinos like having a sitcom show. The only show that existed at the time, this was like 2 years ago, was One Day at a Time. Ironically, One Day at a Time is still the only, show that's on television that's a sitcom. And so I think it was like two minds. Like Jessica had thought about this. I had thought about it some time ago before. So when she, came with the idea, I was like, wait a minute, I have this idea too, and let's merge them together. And I've always been a fan of Edwin's, and we followed each other for years. And Jessica, his family. So it's just like the perfect world. And we just really wanted to come out and really do something that was game changing, not only for the culture, but just for Latino comics out there. We need more than just one show that's on television. We need more opportunities, more of us there, and who better to do it than the originators in the game, and that's HBO. And people forget, HBO brought out Eddie Murphy's first comedy special. You have the George Carlin days, even George Lopez, like just legends. So we can establish that legend. Hey, that's the goal.
Yeah, I always tell people that HBO created that comedy stand-up special platform, or
because they made comedians feel like they made these comedy specials feel like events.
correct.
So when you saw it, it was like, wow, this is an event. And even if you look at the Chris Rock specials, all of them, you know, were events. And,
and I know that it's one of the reasons why, and I talk to Jessica all the time, how important it was for HBO and Entre to live within the HBO platform, because it elevated the Latino category, meaning you have premium Latino entertainers talent on a premium network, and that was everything to Victor and I. Like, we wanted to elevate the category when somebody spoke about Latino comedians or Latino entertainers.
exactly.
That was very important. So they gave us that opportunity, and we just ran with it after that. But that was the goal. The goal was to elevate it, and I think Jessica was very instrumental in seeing that, and baby us a little bit and just bring us on board. Because as I don't know if everybody knows, but it's they don't give out deals like just to anybody out there. HBO, HBO is a very selective content creator out there. So the fact that they're putting out Latino content the way they are, it's definitely we're proud of it for sure.
And you know what? Professionally, you want to think about longevity. And there's not too many entertainment companies or networks in the game that really care about a roster of talent that they think longevity. Usually you get your license, you get your money, do your special, game over. And so I think what's interesting about HBO has always been about the culture. Like, if you look at it, there's longevity and consistency and growth amongst all of its talent. It could be Issa Rae to Mark Vieira, whoever, even look at John Leguizamo, like his first special to, even his last specials were all with HBO, and you want a home,
Right.
and a company that's really going to foster that and not just use you as a one-off. Okay, well, what does the future look like? Maybe that future is a half-hour special. Maybe that future is first rights at, whatever show you decide to develop. What if that opportunity is casting for something else? You know what I mean? And so I think, not only for comics, but for actors and content creators out there, you want to be in bed with media companies that care about your longevity.
Yeah.
To
add a little bit to what you said really quick before I know we're going to talk about the comedy session, but what I found like the coolest thing for me from a production standpoint and talking to the comedians is we create these little mini docs or little BTS footage of each episode that airs, right? And what was the coolest part for me was seeing how many Latino comedians that are now excited to be on this platform have always wanted and has a goal to be on the HBO platform, but a lot of it connects to HBO and Leguizamo. Like, I saw Leguizamo on HBO, and that's when I got into comedy. Like, that I saw a Latino person on HBO, and that was it for me. So it was very cool to see that connection and come full circle, for us. It wasn't unintentional. I didn't intend that happen. It just kept coming out of the comedian's mouth, like one after another. Oh, I always wanted to be on HBO since I first saw the first Leguizamo special. I always wanted to be on HBO. It was very pleasing for me to hear that, and very full circle,
And that's what I think what all of us wanted to kind of demystify is that, this competition was not just, it was for anybody, including like the most established comedian. Like, this was not a game show. This is not like Bring the Funny or whoever else. This was a real opportunity where you were competing amongst the best of the best. And I remember the first year was really kind of just breaking down, that, I don't want to say, that prejudice that this was going to be something different than what it was. And we really wanted pure talent. And regardless of where you stood in the totem pole, as far as, where your career was at, this was an opportunity for you. And I think, their first year kind of proved that. You had Mark, you had some heavy hitters, you had Angelo Lozada, who was really good, a really good advocate. Gina Brillon was another good advocate. Where it's like, no, this is not a game. It's not. We're not going to put you through an obstacle course to try to get it. We just want to hear what you've got and bring us your best, and that's it.
Yeah, and another cool part for me was it was the first time because on social media I would follow her D, right, D with Sasha, and just seeing her growth from being a finalist and then now having a show with D and Sasha on Fuse TV, so it's kind of cool seeing like we were selecting talent, like the finalists had that type of talent, and it wasn't easy. I remember being in that competition, judging it. And it was very challenging, especially when so much energy with the crowd and the comedians, It was a great night for sure.
I mean, we were only expecting one winner. I mean, the whole deal was for one winner. Yeah. And then towards the end, we were just like, "Oh, this is too much." And then Jessica,
Yeah, Jessica.
She brought it down. She's like, "No, we're gonna give two. We're gonna give 2 deals." I was like, "Really?"
Positions a lo Foque, and I'm like, "We're gonna have 2 winners." Yeah.
But that's when you get somebody that cares. When you get advocates and you get people that care and that can pull the trigger. We need more Latinas, Latinos in these positions to pull the trigger.
I go rogue a lot of times, but that is the key, right? Sometimes you can have a great idea, pero si tú tienes que durar, 3 meses to pitch it, and hey, Candy, listen, I'm gonna be like, I'll ask for forgiveness later. I feel like legally we're good, right? And look what happened. We were able to get a show, call it Entre Nos the winners, right? As opposed to our original idea, which was we pick a winner and we insert them into a multi-comedian Entre Nos show, right? So that we'll have 2 people that we looked for and we put in, and one of those people would be a winner to make 3 people. It didn't work out. But I am extremely happy with the product that we did work out with, right? 2 winners on network for the first time. Where we created a cute little, winner stamp that's, part of this, like the lockup for the winner show. So it all worked out, but it worked out because I'm like, vámonos, right? Like, let's do it, right? Yeah. If I would have had to make a phone call to legal, esto no pasa. We're stuck with what we get, right? So I appreciate that they give me enough rope in my role to let me make those executive decisions. I know I've been there 12 years, so I know better what legally I can and cannot do. So I knew I could amend my own legal sweepstakes, but it does take someone to be in the room making those decisions so that we don't have to miss that opportunity and be like, maybe next year, right? Yeah. No, it happened this year. And so hopefully it will happen again for this coming competition. So listen, we could end up with 2 winners again. We could end up with 1. I might get in the room and get excited. We end up with 3. Catch me a good day. We got 3 winners.
Yeah. I want to add really quick just because I got to experience the show and a little bit of what you were just saying right now. I think also there was some executives also that made it to the show right in New York that we had last year, from whether it was legal, marketing, or just different level executives. And I think the number one thing, everybody walked away after that party, and there's no way you couldn't walk away with the sense of like how much the community needed something like this and what it meant to the community. And you could feel that energy in the air from either people crying, people celebrating, people just saying, we always wanted an opportunity like this. So it's one of those, it was like a very cool, magical moment, just seeing the community just come together and celebrate us.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you guys, when you guys first put this whole thing together, what was your initial expectation for it to what you really got? Because I remember that night I spoke to Edwin, and Edwin was like, yo, the crowd was crazy. The comedians all brought it. So what was your initial expectation when you first started this? Like, even with like submissions, like, oh, we might get like 20, and then what really happened?
We were never thinking 20. I am fine. So listen, I back when non-COVID, right?
Mhm.
We threw events all the time. That's what I do. I throw dope ass events. Calixto can attest to them, right? So we throw events. We work our asses off though. So it's not like, venga say yeah, right? Like we throw events, we put energy, coordination strategy effort into it so that they are successful.
Mhm.
But so in my head, I'm envisioning, yep, we're gonna pack the room. Está bien. We're gonna get, we wanted about 100 submissions. It's the first year. I remember we had like not like a long lead time, so we're like, we're good. We tap into some sources, we're good. But when we saw this room packed, line outside, like I literally down an entire block for people like, no, I can't see this. This is important. The buzz, the energy, it was one of my favorite events, and I throw a lot of events. One of my favorite events, and I talk about it in every room I go because the energy was different. Like, llegamos los latinos y estamos aquí, and we were supporting one another, right?
100%.
So we always aim to, break the mold and be better than whatever the next, but the energy was what I didn't expect. I expected an awesome event, a kick-ass event, fill the room, we were good. But the energy and like the excitement, and I mean, Mark was there, he was one of the winners. So, would love to hear his take on like, did you think, Mark, that you want to come into a space that had the energy and was coordinated to a point that created all that effort into one place? But my goal was always to create a dope ass event, which I think I did.
Yeah, you did. You executed that.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I mean, I think it's funny because there was a little bit of uncertainty, like how many people would come in, again, how many comics, were going to sign up or how it was going to flow. And it's one of those things, and it came out exactly the way we wanted and more, you know what I mean? And you don't always get that.
Yeah.
But I think when you move in that purpose and it happens, it just comes to you. And I think that that's what happened. It just, you couldn't make up that night, but it came out everything that we thought it would be, and then some. And it's funny because when you look at impacted audiences, the venue that we hosted in had done comedy events, but nothing Latino. We were the first Latino event that they have ever done, which is crazy for New York City. And ever since that event has ended, he's like, this is the best event I've ever done in the 2 years that my venue's been open. And Jessica to attest, he's been asking us again and again to bring this back. He's asking us all this, please come back. Unfortunately, with COVID, whatever, but we would. Like, he's just, again, the impact is beyond just Latino audiences, but everybody who attended. So you never know, who you're impacting.
Yeah. And I know that we made the official announcement last Friday, the deadline announcement. And I know that Jessica and Calixto behind the scenes are working on some other partnerships to not only elevate the competition, but elevate the viewership, elevate the status of the entire event, right? And some of them we might not be able to talk right now, but I do want to let everybody know that even though the competition is going to be virtual, that HBO, Jessica, Calixto are making sure that as many eyeballs can see this event, they're going to see it. And I think those partnerships are going to allow to see how they elevated this, not only the category, but they elevated this event.
And I think it's, it's going to be dynamic. So
Yeah,
people say it's virtual. No, it's not going to be just some virtual event. This is going to be some next level production, and you're going to see how we do it. And you're going to be like, how did they do it?
That's what
people saw what the festival did. That's something else.
Right.
We're going to turn this up another notch, because when you see the production, watch, it's going to be live. All right. You're going to see something different.
It's not just leveling up a notch. It's like leveling up, like in a big way.
Yeah.
Like nobody's going to expect this.
I can't wait to, I know Jessica, all of us are anxious to wait to get to production, but people are going to be like, WTF.
So what can people expect? Because I know some people may get frustrated, like, oh, it's going to be a COVID thing, it's going to be a virtual thing, but you guys are making it sound like it's going to be something else.
Yeah, Eric, I don't do simple stuff.
I didn't say you did. You did my special,
Remember,
which by the way was your favorite event.
Eric, it's not TV. That's all I'm saying. It's not TV.
Okay. Not TV, yeah.
Not TV, man.
Not TV. Thank you.
The goal here is, and the message should be, those who think they're funny should submit.
100%.
Please submit. If you get chosen to be top 5, we are going to be able, even if you are not the winner, we're going to amplify you as a comedian, right? We are putting eyeballs behind this event that we're creating. And so even if you are not the final winner on the actually gets the show, just let's, for lack of a better way to say, the broadcast of this event will hopefully put eyes on the people who made it to the top 5, right? So just keep that in mind. You should submit 3 to 5 minutes. I think Mark was saying it. Please send polished material. We can see you, we can hear you. It's humans who are looking at this. It's not a machine who's sorting through the top
No algorithm.
It's none of that. It is Latinos at that. So it's not someone who doesn't understand what a mofongo is. If you have a mofongo joke, or like people who are of the culture looking at the content who ultimately make a decision. So just know that is happening behind the scenes.
I'll tell you now, if I ever get in trouble, I want Jessica to represent me in court. She played a way where she didn't incriminate herself at all. She circumvented all the facts that I was trying to get out of her, and she was on a tightrope. I loved it.
She's running for president in the next election.
All right, before we go, any last things you would want to tell people who are thinking of submitting or who want to be part of this competition?
Even if you submitted last year, do it again. There's a whole new batch of people, a whole new batch of comics that you're up against. Level up, and get that special, get the crown. It's not a game. We're not treating this as a game. This is a real opportunity. And, for me, on behalf of the festival, we really hope you submit. It's an awesome competition. And the way we're going to do it is going to be even better. So good luck to everyone who submits.
All the info is up on the website, NewYork-LatinoFilmFestival.com.
Yep.
You guys want submissions by November 13th, and that's a hard November 13th. Latinos don't.
No Latino time. There's no
14th,
extension.
15. What happened was November 13th.
It's a Friday the 13th too. So you have to decide. If you're superstitious, get that in right before the 13th.
Get it in before, yeah.
So nothing happens. But I want to end with one of you guys were saying, Edwin was saying it. And this is a promise that HBO kind of makes. We take care of our talent, right? So if for anything, then you get your special, ya pasó. You are officially now part of La Familia, right? So we keep tabs on what our comedians are doing. How can we support? Where can we insert them? We have a hosting gig. How about that? Like I personally do that. I sit and say, hey, who can we put here for my talents, right? So know that even after your special, even after it's done, you are still part of the family because we treat talent. We want talent to stay with us. We want talent to come back to us, to pitch us stuff. We want to keep it in the family because there's not enough Latinx kind of with deals, right? So my goal is to be like, I know a guy, I know a person, I know this, right? So you will become familia, and that, if not for anything else, that should be a reason you submit.
Right. And you know what? I'm going to piggyback on that because I know Edwin has given me opportunities to shadow directors on some of the specials and help me grow that toolbox. And, I know you, Jessica, you've connected me with people within the HBO family to help me, navigate through certain, whether it's pitching a project or being attached to a project. So I definitely will say they're not BSing people. Like if you're watching this going, oh, it's like those other companies. It's not. It's not. They really mean what they say.
Awesome.
Mark, you got anything to add? Last year's winner?
I wanted to just say real quick, because my perspective is just slightly different. I know Jessica wanted me to just touch on my experience. So last year, being a part of the finals, I didn't expect such a well put together machine that was the finals night. So I just want to kind of be hang the carrot in front of the comedians that are on the fence basically and don't know. I would say take that chance of sending something that you're proud of, some material that is really good, because the experience that I had last year was phenomenal. Like, I had never met Jessica before. I'd never met Calixto before. And so they literally greeted me at the door, gave us a green room, whatever we needed as far as food was concerned. Again, the hospitality, the open arms was there. I felt immediately a part of the event. It wasn't like I was some, hey, sit on the side and just don't bother me until we call you kind of thing. It was an immediate gracious feeling. So whether I won or I didn't win, I felt like I was having a really good time. The music was great. So the ambiance, everything that I think HBO Latino and the New York Latino Film Festival, Entre, I think what they wanted to send as a message really came across very powerful. They wanted to show that they were professional, and it was a professional run competition, and it really came off that way. And again, you got to understand, I walked in not really expecting much and was really overwhelmed by how good it was. Even the judges that were in the house, which with Angelo, yourself, Calixto, Jessica, and others, it really didn't feel that. And you know what? And this is the thing about the whole thing as a competition. It never felt like a competition at all. Comedians it's more like a brotherhood. We're never against each other, so I don't want comedians to think that it's like the TV shows where you're in a competition, it's head-to-head battle. No, you're just performing your best, and the executives that are right here in front of us, they're the ones that kind of watch the material, they watch the engagement with the audience and how well you're received, and they put together what I think is the best package for them to promote and market and let you do the rest. Because I know what I did with my Entre special was what I wanted to bring. And as Jessica was saying before, I have to be honest, I worked really hard on giving you guys my best for that night, because I feel like it was a big deal for me to be chosen as a winner. I didn't take it lightly, and then didn't show up the night that we were taping our special. I really realized I wanted to give you guys my absolute best. So just as in honestly, I attribute that to professionalism, because Jessica, you were saying that Orlando Leyba worked extremely hard on his 30, and I know Eric works really hard, and it really has to do with professionalism. When Orlando calls me and says, hey, Mark, I got a show, or Eric, who told me one day, Mark, I can't make it to Miami, can you stand in for a show for me? I bring my absolute best. Erik Rivera sent me to the show. What he sent was a professional stand-in for him because he couldn't make it. So the professionalism that was shown to me that night, I knew that when we got to the, obviously after I won, along with Alex, that we were going to be a part of something special. That it just wasn't going to be something that we did. And so honestly, I applaud you guys for making it very warm and very inviting and very a happy moment, honestly, for the both of us, I'm sure.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
So before we let you guys go, Mark, tell everybody where they can find you.
They could, right now, I'm in a state penitentiary. I don't know if you can see from the background. I get out in just a couple months before I host. They can find me on social media very, very easily. Mark Vieira Comedy on all handles. Mark Vieira Comedy and YouTube, man. To YouTube me, Mark Vieira. Watch my stand up. If you're a comedian that's a little newer, my advice is to watch stand-up comedy. You know, watch Eric, watch myself, watch Orlando, watch Gina, watch old videos of some of your favorites, because that really allows you to be in your moment by preparing. And so I you know, look, I'm an avid watcher of stand-up. So, you know, if I'm watching it, you should be watching it too. You know what I mean? Just to know that ground, because you know, it could be a comedian that's submitting that's 11 years in or 11 months in. Either way, you have to be able to rise to the occasion for this.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely go watch, follow Mark Vieira Comedy. He's always posting content. Funny guy. Dude, I've known you for years, and I'm still big fan of you, man. Also, The Winners is streaming now on HBO Max, so go check it out. Calixo, give us info on the festival. Where can people go? Where can people find you?
Yes, it's NY Latino Film Festival, and so that's our handles across the board. NYLatinoFilmFestival.com. Same thing for IG and our Facebook and our Twitter and our YouTube. So everything, you can find everything that we're doing, you know, there. And we're going to be actually putting out some fresh content, you know, on our Instagram as we start opening up the competition, spreading out the love. You're going to see a lot more stuff coming out, you know, within the coming weeks and days.
So yeah, so if you're a comedian thinking about submitting, go check out the website. All the info is up there. Again, November 13th. And also, I would say go follow New York Latino Film Festival. You guys every year you put on an amazing festival. You spotlight amazing Latin creators, movies. So it's definitely worth something to follow and definitely keep an eye on. Edwin, Jessica, any parting remarks before we get out of here?
Let Jessica go first.
Submit so I can have a third year of this thing, coño.
Yes. Yeah, me too. The main thing I want to tell everybody is to submit. You know, don't get focused on social media or anything else. Just give us your best 3 to 5 minutes, and go vote.
There you go.
Go vote. Go vote.
Yeah.
And you know what, Eric, everybody here, so much love for real. Like for everybody that's watching, we put our hearts into this. And I want to thank everybody who's watching and definitely everybody who's here in this room. Thank you so much. This is one big family indeed. So let's go get it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Thank you.
Definitely. So make sure you guys submit before November 13th and catch us next week. Hopefully my co-host shows up. Hashtag the disrespect. Thank you guys for being on, and have a good night, everybody.